Hi there. I haven't made any videos for a little while because a terrible sad thing happened. My granddoggy Mischief died a week ago tomorrow, and that was pretty devastating. She's buried up here in the forest where she loved it so much. She was 17 years old, and my daughter, she'd been with my daughter since my daughter first left home, so she's going to find it very, very strange indeed to continue adulting without Mischief by her side. Mischief was the smartest dog I think I've ever known, and so funny and so sweet. Such a performer, such a performer. She trained my husband to take her for a walk. She would bring the leash and literally with her mouth throw it at him. And he always obliged. He always got up and took her for a walk. She spent quite a bit of time at our house. You know, Rosa, coming and going as young people do when they first leave home. And she is deeply, deeply missed. So I've certainly been reading tarot cards. In fact, I got a deck I was going to give to my daughter called First Aid for the Broken-Hearted, which I saw in the Hermit's Cave. And I love that kind of deck, those digitally collaged decks. And I thought, well, that's just the perfect one. I ordered it from Amazon, but unfortunately the box came and it was unsealed. The one corner of the box was completely broken, and the cards had clearly been used and shuffled. So I couldn't very well give that to Rose, but living remotely like I do, it's difficult. I don't have a printer or anything, so it's difficult for me to return things, and the cards were in perfectly good. They were all there, and they were fine, so I decided that I would keep the deck for myself and use it only for Rose. I read her cards quite often. And when she sees it, well, she's seen it. I take a picture of the readings when I read them and send them to her, but if she, I could always get her a copy of it in the future if she wanted one, but this seems to be working out pretty good. I was pretty upset, though, with Amazon. Of all the things, it was a deck to remember my granddoggy by, and so I left a pretty scathing review and had to settle for that. I couldn't even send them a picture of the broken box because I don't have a proper computer, just a notebook, so it's got no memory for... Oh, anyhow, never mind all of that. But writing guides for Craín Amri and Tarot Obscuro has come to a halt for the moment, and I've just been, loving my own dogs pretty. There's Nadia, eating grass. Why are you eating grass, you fellas? And Boo Boo Boo, who's just had quite an extensive haircut and is not very pleased with me today. He's still got a dirty bum, which we're going to have to deal with, but I just couldn't subject him to any further torment yesterday, so maybe a bath today, we'll see. Oh, and it's it's been raining all day yesterday. It rained all day yesterday, and it was raining. We're very late taking our walk this morning because the dogs didn't want to go out. But the rain is sure necessary. The grass was... Look at the beautiful grass. Just after a day of rain, all green as green can be, whereas it was dead. It was burnt and brown. So thank goodness for the rain. Thank goodness for the rain. And my daughter says she's happy for it because it suits her frame of mind. What's going on, you fellas? Is the grass delicious? Or you guys got upset tummies? not enough exercise. That's why we didn't get a good long walk last night. So things are maybe a little stuck. Yeah, so the rain suits her frame of mind, and mine as well. I'm gonna miss that girly girl. So, there are 2 tarot tags I would like to do. The 11 favorite decks one, and the editor's pick one. The editor's pick one in particular, because that was the one that really kind of opened my eyes to how things are going with tarot these days, because, well, I won't reiterate things I've said before, but yeah, it quite revolutionized my tarot practice, discovering Tarot 2. Reinvigorated it, I guess you could say. And as with always, whenever I pay a lot of attention to my tarot practice, the serendipity abounds. I've been working with the shadow decks, the Tarot Obscuro, but also the AI-generated Ethereal, and both times, upon my initial working with those decks, I found hagstones. And now, more often than not, when I'm walking along the river, I do find them. I've found quite a few. The one that I found here is the most special one, because I wasn't even looking for one. I was just standing there gazing at the little magical island over there, as I do every day. And there it was, just in front of me. So that was quite a gift. So, shadow work, especially the Tarot Obscuro, which I want to make as dark as I possibly can. I don't know. What do you think? Is it a good time to do shadow work when your heart is very heavy? Or is it just too much? Just for the moment, I think it may be just a bit too much just now, but I do have the Kraina Mri Dreamland, which is so, maybe I'm writing a guide for that. It's a straightforward Rider-Waite, well, not so straightforward Rider-Waite deck, but it didn't come with a guidebook, and so I have chosen to interpret that as permission to write my own, and I'm going to do it in rhyme. I'll use actual nursery rhymes where they fit, and I will just make them up when I can't think of one that already exists that fits, because I love making up rhymes. And I could be doing that. I could also be doing a lot of more practical things like yard work and housework. I've got some major work to do in the house, but perhaps I'll do that today. Rainy day. Coolish too, so I don't know. Coolish and wet. Might be a better day to do yard work, because I haven't been able to pull weeds or do much digging because everything's just been baked hard, and today, and so hot too. So today would be nice and cool, and I could probably get a lot done in the yard, and that'd be good for the dogs too. They always like to help me in the yard. On the other hand, it's kind of gloomy out, and so it would also be it may also start to rain again. We'll see. I said, I'll come and work out in the yard, and if it starts to rain again, I'll come inside and get some stuff done around the house. And now, okay, I'm just babbling and looking. It's fun. It's kind of a funny thing to do, to be wandering around, and I'm kind of loosely holding the camera, looking at things with my eyes, and then looking at things with the camera. But this loosestrife here, so beautiful. It's invasive. People really hate invasive plants, but I don't. And well, certainly not when they're as beautiful as these. But I really, really love how these have chosen to grow with the Joe Pye weed. Like, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Who could hate those things? The loosestrife. So the tall one is the Joe Pye weed, and the low ones here are the loosestrife. Yeah, it looks like they've still got more flowering to do, which I'm happy about. I think there's even a better look. Oh, how lovely they are. How lovely they are. Ah, the heavy, heavy skies. Like a heavy, heavy heart. I used to follow a Peruvian shaman. Look at those things back there. I think those are wild turtle heads, those white ones. And a woman was talking about her depression. And the Peruvian shaman responded kind of mysteriously. Let's see if I can zoom in what happens. Oh, look at that. That what made her think that the depression was hers? Did she ever consider that perhaps the world was in sorrow? And that always sort of struck with me because, you know, I'm one of those people that's kind of seasonal affective disorder-ish. Very affected by the weather. And it feels like that. It feels, when you're affected by the weather, it very much feels as if the things that you're feeling are not entirely your own, or you're participating in the emotional life of the planet, perhaps. So I was much struck. I hadn't thought of that before, but when the Peruvian shaman said that, oh yeah, you know, I've actually felt that sometimes. That I really love those little orange things too, but there's better place. Well, I don't want to keep filming necessarily, so. All right, here's the place. Oh, here's a good. They're wild turtle heads. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh my God, I love flowers so much. I made a living as a gardener, a horticultural technician, for many, many years, until I got too old and injured myself, and the physiotherapist walked in and took one look at me, and he said, "I don't really need to say what the problem here is, do I?" And I just started to laugh. That was sort of the promise I'd made to myself, was that I would continue to work. It's very heavy work until I injured myself, and then I would give it up. So that's what happened. And then I did other things that were not as interesting, but actually paid better. So there was that. Anyhow. All right, let me find those little orange orchid things again. I'm about ready to wind it up, aren't I, Boo? Are we going to go back home? Was you getting wet? All right, this isn't the best specimen. There are banks of these over my head at another part of the... Perhaps I'll film them on their own. These little orchid-like lady slippers. I just adore them. And there are masses and masses of them all on the edge of the forest. Oh. Painful though life is, the world certainly is very beautiful. That's one of the things I like about tarot as well, is even though it's largely based on Kabbalah and you know, Hermetic esotericism, which I find sometimes I get impatient with the two things, the sexism inherent, implicit. Well, and that can't be helped. It's a historical thing. There's lots of gorgeous, wonderful feminine archetypes and goddesses, so I shouldn't really dwell on the niggly bits that I don't like. But that it is more celestial centric, that life here is somehow less than. And I do feel that sometimes. I mean, you know, like times like now when you're brokenhearted and you love to think that you'd be reunited with your loved ones in the afterlife, and that if you can only get through this life, then and you know, that there will be a, I don't want to say a payoff, 'cause I'm more like a feather of matte believer that, you know, if you can keep your heart full of light, that there's more to know than we're able to know in a mortal body. Of that I'm sure. But I certainly do not think that being alive on this glorious planet is less than. I think it is an absolute honor and privilege, painful and horrifying and devastating as it often is, perhaps precisely because of that. It is a moment in eternity to be treasured, precious. Even the horror, even the pain. I was saying to my daughter, you know, now that I'm getting older, and I remember when this was happening to my parents, where for a while when I was you know, Rose's age, my daughter's age now, when I was her age, it seemed like every time I spoke to my parents, somebody had died. And they were very, very stoic about it. My parents were very stoic people, not given to telling their troubles to anyone. And now it's happening to me. My friend down the road is going to be put into a nursing home, and yeah, there's the times they are a-changin', as they always do, and I'm pretty well equipped to handle that gracefully for the most part, I hope, and one can only hope. I try to take care of my health as best I can, although not to my daughter's satisfaction. But, oh yes. Oh, I'm just kind of slowly wandering for the dog's sake, because as I said, we got a very late start, and I'm kind of thinking that, oh, look at these things here. A little botanical tour. Some kind of wild honeysuckle. Maybe I should make my own botanical. I'd like a botanical deck, and there are so many really beautiful ones. But I don't know. Well, there's usually what it is just there's some other deck that I want even more. A baby's breath, maybe? No. I'm not sure what those are. I don't, I know a great deal about cultivated flowers. I know that's honeysuckle. Yeah, I only know a little bit about wildflowers. And be a new field of study. People always ask me if I go hunting for mushrooms in the forest, and I certainly could. I know where some are, but I never do. Because hey, what was that about you? You all right, boo boo boo? Oh, I don't know what. Look at what boo is. Is you all wet? Boo boo boo, boo boo boo, boo. Okay, come on. Let's keep going, you. These over here are perennial sunflowers, which the birds love. And I quite like them too. And when I was still working as a horticultural technician, we went to a garden and they wanted these gone. They had them up against a fence. So they are very, very invasive, especially in garden soil. And so we were hired expressly to take them all out, which we did. And why was that I saved many clumps of them and took them home to put in my garden. And my coworker, also a horticultural technician, said, "You'll be sorry." And I was like, "Oh no, I'll just keep them along the fence." And now I am, because yeah. Now that I'm not in the city to take proper care of the garden, oh, they just run amok. And the birds just freak out on me when I cut them down. I don't understand why people object to backyards being overgrown. But one of my friends in the city had me half convinced that there were coyotes living back. It's not a very big backyard. I'm pretty sure that I think the little stray cat that bit Aura does live back there, but no coyotes. No coyotes, no coyotes. But the birds love it, and squirrels love it, and, you know, everybody says they love nature, but not in their backyard, I guess, or not in their neighbor's backyard anyway. So I will have to go back to the city yet again. And we are just going to cover everything and put mulch everywhere, except for, there's bushes and stuff like that. And eventually when Demon, look at that beautiful little olive tree. Shouldn't be there. This should be swamp, but I guess it's kind of a triumph for my neighbor that, anyway, we're not going to talk about that. And I'm not going to talk about anything anymore because I have just been yammering on stupidly. And the sun is starting to come out. And I wish Mischief was running here with us. Boy, oh boy. So Nadia. She so loved to run. To run and run and run. Oh, my doggy woggy, my grand doggy. We will miss her so sorely for quite some time, but that's enough for now. I thought I saw something land on that. At least look at how tall it is. That's taller than I am. The loosestrife. Loosestrife and Joe Pyeweed down there is a match made in heaven. Enough. Goodbye for now.